What's going on, gamers? So this is going to be an interesting video about how Game Pass doesn't really cannibalize sales as much as people think, and um, how this game right here is another example. So is Indiana Jones and a lot of other games that sell outside of the Game Pass spectrum that are on other platforms. Now, there is articles, for example, if we go here, Xbox Game Pass titles can face huge loss of premium sales. There's also other articles too that were talking about Game Pass cannibalizing sales. But I want to confirm that the people that were saying that, you need to understand there's two dimensions on this. Are you saying exclusively only on the Xbox console, or just because it's on Game Pass, nobody's going to buy it? Because if it's on PC, that's wrong. Even on its own. Same thing by Microsoft going to PlayStation and Nintendo. And I'm going to explain that in a second. So what I mean by that is, for example, this game right here, it has pretty much hit 100,000 on Steam concurrent, right? They said on the 25th they sold 500,000 copies. They're heading towards a million right now. You know what I mean? And this is a game that's also around tanks, like Oblivion Shadow dropped around it too. You know what I mean? There's lots of other games that are constantly coming out, even on the service. You know what I mean? Oh, the Nintendo pre-orders going up. Just so much stuff around to where it's like, I'm glad you guys are getting the attention you deserve. Because I did a stream yesterday, almost a 5-hour stream on the game. Absolutely loved it. Gonna be playing this game a lot. Gonna be playing Oblivion more, but I'm waiting on like an optimization patch. Supposedly there's some problems going on with that. They released some update and messed up DLSS and all sorts of other stuff. I'm like, well, what the hell is going on with that? But not to get too far off topic, but getting back to this, one thing I will say is that when Microsoft has something on Game Pass that they're putting on multiple other platforms, the idea of it going out to even off the ecosystem is to make sure they get the sales that they would have wanted on their consoles while providing their base um, with the service. Because otherwise, what would even be the point of them even staying in the game if they weren't even doing Game Pass? That would you just be a third party publisher. You see what I mean? So looking at this game, by the way, congratulations to these publishers. This gives you a good idea um, that if people want to get a game, they're going to get a game. And what I mean by that is, for example, remember what I told you guys about the carryover profile? So if the Switch 2, right, people are getting the Switch 2, let's say this game is announced with the Switch 2, right? Those people that are carrying over their profile, they're not going to buy it on PlayStation, Xbox, or even PC because of that carryover in the profile. The people that are on Steam, guess what? Like I told people, they're not going to Game Pass. This is how many people are playing. Do you know how many people are actually buying this game, though, compared to how many are actually on? Yeah, it's always way more than are actually on. So they're not going to go to Game Pass and say, I'm paying or even getting a trial on Game Pass to play this game. I want this on my Steam profile. So the idea of Game Pass cannibalizing sales could only exist on the Xbox only ecosystem. But as I told people before, when you wake up in the PC world, when you wake up in the Nintendo world, when you wake up in the Sony world, whose install bases are significantly larger than Xbox's niche install base, you're going to see with all three of them combined, you have a 400 million plus install base between PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And they all wake up looking to buy something. Either it's on sale or they want to buy it full price or just wait on a price drop off the Nintendo platform, of course. They do sales though, but then the price drops. Oh god, that's pretty rare. But what I'm saying is that, like for example, when this game came out, obviously it wasn't an Xbox exclusive, right? But it was coming to Game Pass because Microsoft knew people were not going to buy this type of game on Xbox, right? You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be huge sales. No, it's going to come on PC and then PlayStation or PlayStation PC, and then when the Switch 2 version comes, it's going to sell on there too. And all three of those platforms are going to buy the game. You know what I mean? And then Game Pass, they're going to take the paycheck from Microsoft. So they took an instant paycheck, which is good for a studio like this who just made their first game ever. And then they knocked it out the park. Plus, they're getting no sales outside of that. This is where Game Pass can be okay. Now, if it's just like, for example, a game like you think a game like Doom: The Dark Ages or some other game. Let's say if that was only on the Xbox ecosystem and they put that on Game Pass. well, then yeah, the game's not going to get any sales. But since they have Microsoft to give them the paycheck, um, they will be able to remedy that. But the fact that Doom the Dark Ages will come to PC day one, come to PlayStation, come to Switch, it's the same situation again. See, when you have those situations, I want you to think about this. PONYS, sit down. You could have the service for PC sub and for Xbox main. Why did I say PC sub? Because people on Steam are going to buy it regardless. There's people on GOG that want to own a game, right? No DRM, like they completely own the license. It just really depends. So yeah, once again, congratulations to Claire Obscure, uh, Expedition 33. I love this game, and it's so great to see a turn-based JRPG come out like this. Hopefully, Square is like, okay, you know what? We're gonna have to do something about this. But yeah, so we see that that ideology is not getting too far. Now, let's go over here next. Indiana Jones PlayStation 5 is selling faster than on Xbox and PC, claims analysts. I could believe this. The great seller. Once again, if that comes on Switch 2, that'll sell well as well. So the idea of Microsoft getting the 70% out of all of that and having the Game Pass for their platform makes it to where they could get the sales that they wanted and even more by if they only had it on their platform, plus having that service. You see, that's the idea for this, and that's where Satya Nadella is actually right for where Microsoft needs to go, not the Xbox only, because that doesn't exist anymore. Uh, play where it's like I'm getting all these and I'm making all of these exclusive only on Xbox. They wouldn't be making nowhere near as money and getting the sales that they need to do that. Satya Nadella wouldn't do that just to beef up a hardware that's only going to sell like what? What if they would have sold 10 million more doing that? That's not going to work. And Game Pass is not sustainable for Xbox only. That's why they put it on PC. That's why they put in their games everywhere. Of course, it's not sustainable. Now, if somebody asked me, I was like, yeah, of course not. Well, Microsoft would have to even spend even more money because they would have to keep those people sustained only on their platform, or they're making them broke to feed their base and lose money. They're not going to do that. That no fucking corporations do that. Definitely $1 trillion corporation, the richest in the world. They want to stay the richest. So by any means, they want Xbox to be rich. So that means multi-platform approach. So Game Pass can't cannibalize sales when those games are selling on Steam, on PlayStation, and on the Nintendo platform. And if we understand this concept, then we get the idea that it would be stupid for Microsoft to try to play a game they couldn't play because they know they would just go to the third party publisher then at that point. Because Microsoft is not going to let them embarrass the Microsoft brand anymore with that type of mentality. It has to be the business mentality of having profit everywhere and going the Steam hybrid model route. That's the final method for them. After that, it is third party publishing. So, going over to this article, actually, we get to that a little bit later. Xbox Game Pass titles can face huge loss of premium sales. Now, I want you guys to think about this. This is important. Remember when Sony says Bungie is not going to have that game go free to play because it's a premium title? This is what they're talking about right here. You see, when you say you have a premium title, it's like Nintendo putting Mario Kart at, hey, that's a premium title, and they feel like it's going to sell, and there's going to be a market for it. For Microsoft, what the way Nadella is looking at this, you can see this is if Microsoft's going to have premium titles, their premium titles will be on their premium service. See, their premium is now Game Pass, and they can get the premium sales by going out to other platforms. This is just something to understand why this is smart as a business decision, not a video game console war decision, which is not going to happen on that end. It's gonna have to be somewhere else. That's why we got to move the war somewhere else. As I told people, digital stream, cloud, pro consumer, publishing wars, all these sorts of things because they lost the other war. Nintendo won the whole thing. So then Sony after that. So after that, you're gonna have to go to some other categories to get an advantage. It's the only reasonable thing to do. You know what I mean? So it says Xbox Game Pass may result in up to 80% loss in premium game sales, affecting developer revenue. Now, this was a thing that was going on that was very popular because they weren't doing that approach they're doing now. It was like 4 games that may be happening. Because if we look at this article, this is at the beginning of the year, but there was also articles previous before that they kept on saying the same thing and how it's not hitting the 100 million. Games on Xbox Game Pass can see a sales benefit on other platforms such as PlayStation. That's why I say that's where it cannot be cannibalized. And to fix that, that's why you did that. And that was a smart move by Nadalia to do that. Microsoft admits Xbox Game Pass can cannibalize sales. Well, in that sense, yes. If they were trying to do that method they were doing before, yeah, it's not going to work and it's not sustainable. And Phil Spencer said the other day, it's not for everyone. Whereas before they wanted it to be this grand thing to where it's over 100 million, and then now he admits that, hey, same thing that you don't have to buy Xbox. See, they're saying these things because they realize that even if we do say that, it's already in effect. You're going to have to go to them. So let's just be genuine and real and face the music. In a way, they are doing that now. Whereas before, a lot of people were promised certain things, just like people were promised certain things in the PS5 era, and both of them did not deliver in a lot of ways. You're not going to get that treatment in the Switch era or on Nintendo. They're going to deliver. Their problem is just not dropping a damn price. So yeah, there's a difference between the economic issue and actually video game related issues. I would rather have the economic issue than the video game issues because at least I know that when the video game issues are fine, I know what I'm paying for and I'm going to get that product and I know that it's worth it. And when it comes to price dropping or sales, you could hit a switch. And I want you guys to think about that. But when it comes to video game problems, you ain't hit no light switch to say, here, I just dropped it real quick for you. Oh no, it's going to take a while to fix those problems. And I want y'all to think about that. What is the difference? What type of problem would you want to have? You see the mentality I just had? That's a mentality that they should be Metal Gear Solid light bulb thinking about. I would rather have an economic issue rather than a video game issue because if I want to fix my development issues, there's a whole damn world to fix. Those type of problems are problems that are way harder to solve. You could never have that original team again that has that magic. You know what I mean? That's been together for so long. That didn't get invaded. Trying to fix all that is not the same as saying, "Oh, I got the power to drop the price drop anytime I want, so I can fix it whenever I want." Right? It's a different dilemma. That's why I say that the problem that you see over in those other communities is way worse because your problems cannot be solved with just by hitting a buy button or all these other things or not canceling a game and firing all these people. Man, once that gets in effect, it ain't just snap of a finger. It takes a long time to fix that type of stuff. New PlayStation leadership, we see that going on too. Xbox getting the leadership, changing around stuff. Satya took over. Those changes, like they take time, and now you see it coming in effect. It's doing well now. I love seeing that. I only want it to get better. I want to see all three doing so well. Where the competition is so good, you have a good show going. You know what I mean? That's what I like to see. Not just a boring blowout like you're watching a sports game. Oh, they're getting blown out, man. It's boring. You know what I mean? That's not what we want over here. So this video was to pretty much talk about how some would say that Game Pass is cannibalizing sales, and there was a trend going on about this too. This is why Kami said Claire Expedition 33 sets a new peak of 98,000, also on Game Pass. And the statement is basically saying, you guys kept on saying that if a game goes to Game Pass, it's not going to sell. Whereas, like, there was two statements on that. First, it was the multi-platform statement, and then it was the Xbox-only statement. I can say that would have been plausible. But this other statement is it's not working. The method is, you're going to have to change your method. PONYS, sit down. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, let me know what y'all think about this. It's an interesting discussion to talk about and to give people a point of view on things. It's something I want to talk about. I got some other stuff to talk about as well regarding Sony and some other things. So we'll do another video on that. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Peace out. Stay being cool.